All right, we are live. Starla, what's going on? Starla, what's happening?
Hi, how are you? Sorry,
great.
I'm.
You're all about
very
the audience.
I'm looking at so many tabs right now, guys.
That's true. That's
all
true.
the tabs.
We got a lot of. We got to wait. What is Todd's line? I already forgot. We've got a lot to talk about today.
So much, all the things.
Yes. So hey, by the way, welcome to the show. I'm Andrew Edwards,
and I'm Starla Simpacco.
This is the behind-the-scenes recording of our Geared Up podcast. So you're gonna watch us record a podcast. All mistakes. All coughing off screen. Like last week was crazy.
Coughing.
So much coughing.
I'm still coughing.
But it will be turned into a nice, buttoned up, great sounding podcast. You're watching us record that. So if you're in the chat, if you're on, actually, we're now streaming on Twitter.
Yes.
We're streaming on Facebook. We're streaming on YouTube. We're all over the place this week. We're trying it out. Wherever you are, feel free to comment. Let us know if you have any questions, with the one caveat being, we address the questions during the breaks.
Yes.
So some people will get mad that we're not addressing questions. You're just ignoring your audience. We're not.
I know.
We're not ignoring you. We're just talking to each other, recording a podcast. And then when we go to break, we will address the questions at that time. So anything else we need to let them know before we jump in?
Before we officially start,
right.
Just a reminder that Jake is here too.
Yes, Jake, switch over to your camera angle for a moment. So yeah, we're expanding the show. It's your second week here.
It's
How are you
my
feeling?
second week. I'm feeling a lot better.
Feel like a pro though? Like
I wouldn't say I feel like
got
a
this
pro.
down? No,
But
okay.
I actually really enjoy. I look forward coming in and speaking with Andrew about.
There we go.
Tech. So.
All right, cool. So we're gonna jump in to start recording the show, and here we go.
Yeah, let us know if you have any questions.
Yes. Welcome to Geared Up, brought to you by National Car Rental. I'm Andrew Edwards.
And I'm Starla Simpacco.
Welcome. This is the show that brings you the latest tech news and consumer electronics news from over the past week or so, at least the things that we found interesting that we want to share with you guys at home or at work or in the car or really wherever you are.
Yeah, today we have a lot to cover, like some new products from Apple.
Potentially rumored.
Rumored.
What is not rumored is a very nasty bug, a FaceTime bug that we're going to need to talk about and address.
Yes.
And then,
yikes.
Yeah, not good.
Not the best situation
especially
to be in.
from Apple.
Yeah.
And we have some other devices to debate on.
Yes.
Plus best TVs for Super Bowl.
Yes. And at the end, we'll talk about the minimalist phone trend.
Not a fan. Let's jump into our first story. The first story, which started breaking last night, is a crazy privacy-killing bug in the iPhone and on Macs for FaceTime. Have you heard about this?
I just heard about it this morning. It's kind of terrifying.
Yeah.
So what was happening, Andrew?
Okay. So people discovered that if you initiate a FaceTime call with someone else, and then during the call, while the call was ringing, add a third party. So basically a multi-person FaceTime call. If you add a third party into the call, even if that third party is yourself, the other person's phone would immediately start sending you a stream of the audio. So without them answering the phone, their phone would basically answer the FaceTime call and start sending you the audio that the phone hears. So, and they didn't have to do anything to make that happen. Furthermore, if the person declined the FaceTime call by hitting the power button on their phone, just tapping it, that's how you can decline a call or FaceTime, it would start sending the video feed to the caller. So you think you hung up. There's nothing on your screen indicating that you're sending this feed over to them. And the person on the other side is getting a video feed to their phone. Now, obviously, this is probably not something that most people would discover on their own because it's a very specific scenario. You have to FaceTime someone and while it's ringing, quickly add someone else to the call. But obviously someone discovered it.
Yeah. And there is a woman who said that she actually reported it days before the news broke. And we actually have a video that we're going to pull up. Yeah,
Jake's pulling this up here. So it's interesting because Apple is such a huge company, right? So one person finds this bug, which is in my opinion, one of the worst bugs ever on a mobile device. They find this. How do you get it in front of the right person for them to take action quickly? Like, okay, I found this. I tweeted it to them. I emailed it to them. but you're emailing customer service and you're tweeting it to whoever handles their Twitter account. There has to be a better way to manage this kind of thing, because this is terrible.
Yeah, and I didn't realize that the person who was receiving the call, whose audio was basically being leaked, would have no idea that the other person could hear what they were saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Imagine what they could hear.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, who knows?
Who knows?
Where's your phone at, and what are you doing at the time? They can hear it. And if you're like, oh, I'm busy right now, let me hit the power button, you're now sending a video feed of whatever.
How you were not actually busy.
Exactly. So that's crazy. And obviously not just for personal privacy, but if you're in let's just say, a private meeting at work.
Yeah, a confidential meeting.
Right. And all of a sudden you're streaming.
Nope.
It's terrible. But this also happened, I believe it was National Privacy Day, something like that yesterday.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was like National Privacy Day or National Data Protection Day.
The timing.
Something like that. So Tim Cook yesterday sent out a tweet, because Apple's all about privacy. At least that's the drum that they beat. So he did a very eloquent tweet about how privacy is a right and Apple protects your privacy, et cetera, and then this comes after that. Now,
doesn't Apple have a bug bounty, right? I mean, aren't
they
pretty notorious for
What's
having
a bug bounty?
Yes, they do have a bug bounty, and I believe the woman was trying to submit it as part of the bug bounty.
Oh, okay.
Which, in my opinion, should have made that an even higher priority. Definitely. So either they didn't pay attention, or they saw it and was like, we have to figure out how to fix it. Now, the thing is, a lot of people are saying, well, Apple knew about this, however many days ago, let's say 10 days ago. The thing is, if someone reports a bug like that 10 days ago, you don't announce to the world before it's fixed, hey, this bug exists. Here's how it works, right? Because now everybody's going to try it. But yesterday, once it started hitting the news, they turned off multi-person FaceTime.
Okay.
Why didn't they do that 10 days ago if they knew about it 10 days ago? So they slipped up somewhere. Either they didn't take action quickly enough, or they knew about it and didn't take action to just disable group FaceTime quickly enough. But either way, it's a pretty big blemish on Apple's whole privacy stance. And at CES, Apple's never there, but they always have some effect on the show. And this year, did you see their big...
It was the big sign,
the big billboard. It said, what happens on your iPhone stays on your iPhone. Someone says Jake has no audio, by the way.
Oh, no.
So they said, what happens on your iPhone stays on your iPhone. And obviously...
That's not true.
Not true.
That's not true
right now.
Apple.
Come on. So Jake is going to figure out his microphone.
Yep.
And I'm going to just reiterate what Jake just said. He basically asked, doesn't Apple have a bug bounty program, which is basically a program where if you find a bug, and they will pay you a fee for finding that bug that was, a major issue. So I believe the woman was trying to submit it to get paid for finding this. But at the end of the day, she found a legitimate, terrible. There has been no other bug like this. No Android device has had anything like this. Like, this is crazy.
Ugh. Now I'm just afraid of carrying this around now.
Well, they've disabled group FaceTime, so don't worry.
Okay.
Group FaceTime's disabled for now.
Have you ever actually used group FaceTime?
I have.
Honestly?
I haven't, actually.
The only reason I've ever used group FaceTime is me and a lot of the other top YouTube tech creators. Once the feature launched, we all got together to do, I believe the max is 32 people. I think we got 29 people in. We tried to max it out. We got 29 people in there.
That's a lot of
But that's
people.
the only time I've ever done it. I've never done it any time besides that. I mean, how often do you even single person FaceTime? Do you?
A little bit.
Do you? Okay. I feel like it's younger people that that use FaceTime more than because I feel like
aren't you a young person?
I'm middle age young. I'm like
young.
My age would be equivalent to being like lower middle class. So I'm still middle, but I'm lower. I'm still on the young end of things.
An elder millennial.
But you still look up to me a little bit. You respect your elders in that way. So no, but like my son, 15 years old, high school, FaceTime.
Oh, I didn't know you had a son. Okay.
Yes, I do. I have a son. He's 15. He will video chat. He'll FaceTime.
Yeah.
He'll be with his friends. They have all these apps that I've never even heard of. That's one thing that makes you feel old is when they open up an app you never even heard of.
Like Musically
like,
or something.
I'm on house party right now with my friend. What house party?
What's house party?
What the hell is that? Well, it's an easy way to do group video chat. I'm like, you have FaceTime built in. What is this house party thing? So yeah. Okay, so that is Apple's bug. They say there will be a fix before the end of this week, and the temporary fix right now is that they've disabled group FaceTime, so no one can take advantage of this bug right now.
Good.
Once they fix it, they'll re-enable group FaceTime, and then we'll be back up and running.
Do you know if other companies do bug bounties?
I'm sure a lot of big companies do. The thing is, this is a pretty big deal for privacy, this bug that happened with Apple. But we've seen this kind of thing with other companies as well. Not to this effect where you can just listen in on somebody. But, for example, Android devices, it may have just been Samsung ones, started randomly just taking pictures from your phone and just sending them out to your contacts, just picking random photos and just sending them. So that's not good. We've seen the Google Home have a bug where it would actually just listen to wherever you place it, just listen nonstop and save it to Google servers. They say, oh, well, that was a bug. so someone figures this out. Like, the Google Home is listening to everything I say and capturing it and uploading it. And, when a company says, oh, well, it was a bug, people are always like, well, was it really a bug or did you just get caught? I honestly think it's just a bug. I don't think they're trying to do this. But, yeah, we've seen this type of thing. And what's interesting is that as we carry these devices around with us or place them in our homes, no software is perfect. Yeah. So bugs are going to happen. And are we okay with knowing that sometimes those bugs are going to result in our privacy being invaded when we didn't expect it to? I don't know.
Jeez.
I don't know. It's crazy. Jake, is your mic fixed?
Yeah. Yep. Well, it's fixed on that. It was just that camera angle in particular.
Okay.
Which I fixed now.
Okay, so Jake's camera angle didn't have the right audio,
now.
But now he's good.
Confirm that if possible.
Right. But hey, Travis McP back in the audience, thank you for letting us know because we would have went through the whole show with Jake not being able to be heard. Okay, next topic. That's the FaceTime bug. What was the next topic we had?
Rumored new products.
No, that's segment 2.
Oh, okay.
What was our segment 1?
Oh.
Super Bowl.
Yes,
okay.
Andrew. So you were recently in LA to talk on KTLA about some of your top TV picks for the Super Bowl. So tell me about, what are you thinking? What's trending right now? What would you buy if you had to go out and buy a TV today for Sunday?
Well, okay, so here's what's up. So I went down to KTLA, and they wanted me to kind of give a breakdown of different TV options. So I didn't want to give specific. I did give one specific model, but I kept it more general. Here's the best you can get. Here's very good, and then here's my TV for the every man. Can I say every man in 2019? The every person.
Sure.
The every person. So high end. Did you see this at CES? Samsung's booth.
The 8K.
The 8K.
Oh my gosh.
TV. 8K is so crazy. Now they're selling one. You can actually go to Best Buy right now.
Oh, nice.
And buy. There's one 8K TV on the market, and it's Samsung's. It's an 85-inch TV. 85-inch QLED. $15,000.
Ooh.
Plus tax.
Oh.
Plus tax. Unless you go down to Portland. In our area, you can drive down to Portland. A lot of people will do that trick. I'm going to go to Portland and save tax. Now, in this case, you're saving
that would be worth it.
Yeah, you're saving $1,500 in tax.
What kind of refresh rate are we talking about?
It's basically the same as their other TV. So I believe it's either a 120 or 240 refresh rate.
Wow.
It's cute. It's a high end, obviously, TV.
Yeah.
The cool thing is not that I expect people to go out and rush out and buy a $15,000 TV. Since there's not a lot of 8K content, they've really been focusing on trying to make sure that its upscaling is up to par. So that if you're watching 4K or even 1080p, it'll upscale it to 8K and actually look good.
Oh, nice.
So at CES, they were showing, here's a 4K feed, here's a 1080p feed, here's the upscaled version, and it actually looked better, which is very rare. Usually upscaling looks terrible.
Yeah.
So that's one option. If you want to have the best TV on the block for your Super Bowl party, you're going to go out and buy a $15,000.
It'll be the most popular house on the block.
People are going to want to come over, play games on that.
That's a huge TV, 85 inch. That's taller than me.
How tall are you?
5'2".
Now I'm curious. Wow, you're down there. I'm not much taller than that.
You're down there.
I'm 5'6". Wait, no, I'm 5'7.5". When you're short, you have to throw the "1/2" on there.
Yeah.
Even if it's not "1/2", you just want to say it just to make your height sound a little longer.
Every half inch counts.
Yes. Okay, so that is the $15,000 Samsung.
Yeah.
Now let's get more practical.
Yeah, like if I don't want to spend
$15,000,
like
that's like the cost of a Kia. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Kia.
let's go down to OLED. Have you seen the OLED TVs?
Okay, no, I haven't.
Okay, so OLED, these are the super thin TVs. They're organic light emitting diode. It's organic compound, which means it's technically a living compound. Okay. Living things die eventually. So that's the one thing about OLEDs is that they are going to fade out and eventually not work. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to happen in a year. Probably, I would be surprised if you bought an OLED today and 10 years from now, it was still giving you the same performance, though. That said, very thin, very amazing black levels, and the picture is pretty amazing. The thing about Super Bowl season, leading into Super Bowl, you're seeing companies that sell TVs like the Best Buys, the Amazons, they're dropping prices because they expect you. Everybody wants to upgrade their TV for Super Bowl. So Black Friday and Super Bowl, those are the times. You can pick up a good OLED TV. Typically, they're $3,000, but you're going to see them right now for around $2,000. So if you want to get a good OLED TV, $2,000.
That sounds a lot better than $15,000.
Yes, still expensive. Now, here's a stat you may not know. 98% of the TVs sold in the United States sell for under $2,000. 98%.
Okay.
So that means all the TVs, when you go into Best Buy, the vast majority of people are not buying those like expensive TVs. Almost everybody, 98 out of 100 people, will buy a budget TV.
Okay.
They spend under.
I probably fall into that category.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Most people aren't trying, they just want a TV that's good enough. So, my good enough TV recommendation, the TV I recommend for the average consumer out there is a TCL 6 Series.
Okay.
Are you aware of TCL?
Yes, I've heard, of course.
Okay.
I've heard of TCL.
Just asking. Not many people have. I mean, they're still fairly new in the U.S. market. Jake, have you heard of TCL?
I have heard of TCL.
All right.
And how much is their TV that you recommend?
So the TCL 6 Series is the one I recommend specifically because it feels like it is a high-quality TV for a budget price. Okay. So a 55-inch version of the 6 Series right now is selling for $629.
Oh, that's reasonable.
It's very reasonable. It has full array backlighting, which means it tries to mimic the black levels of an OLED by using the backlighting that it has in there. So it's not super thin because of the backlighting, but it gives you a great picture. It's 4K. It has Roku built in, so you don't need to buy any sort of set-top box. Good. Roku's built in. And it looks good. Like the frame and everything is brushed metal. It's not plastic. You're getting a pretty high-quality TV for $629, which will still make you look good when you have your friends over for the big game. Why do you have to say big game, by the way? You know about that? No. Like you're not supposed to say Super Bowl.
Really?
Yeah, like we're doing a news show, so it's okay. Oh. But like if you're like, hey, we have our big game contest, like you can't say our Super Bowl, like Super Bowl is a very protected term. So whenever you watch TV, like pay attention to the TV and radio, they will always say the big game and they won't say Super Bowl.
Maybe there's like a copyright issue.
Right, but everything's copyrighted. Like I can say iPhone.
Well,
right?
I think like some local channels in Seattle, like I think Q13 can say there's a certain phrase. It's either go 12s or go Hawks or something like that. Oh. And so when I was at King 5, we couldn't use.
You couldn't say Seahawks?
No, we could say Seahawks, but there was a specific phrase that only Q13 could use. So then when we were at Cairo, we couldn't tweet that phrase. Wow.
Wow.
So if I had to guess, that would be it.
Okay, that's crazy. Did not know that.
Yeah.
So, okay. So that was your look at our my picks for this Sunday. Again, big sales are happening right now. Amazon, Best Buy, all these places. So if you want to get a TV sometime soon, now is probably the time to do it because of these sales.
Can you stream the Super Bowl online if you don't have a TV?
You can stream it.
Okay.
You can stream it online. That sounds crazy, but yeah, like you're just on your phone watching the Super Bowl.
You're just on your phone.
Watching the big
riding
game.
Riding the bus.
The big game on a little screen.
Yes. All right, so there you have it. That is my picks for Super Bowl TVs. We will be right back talking about some more potential news and products coming from Apple.
Nice.
This is Geared Up.
We'll see you after the break.
All right, break time. Let's take a look at the chat.
She still got that Surface Pro. It's my work computer, okay?
That's Viper. Okay.
I have to take a cough break.
Okay, take your cough break. Travis came for Andrew and stayed for Starla. Thanks. Thanks a lot. The most important thing, this is from Gian Marco, the most important thing is that this bug could happen in any other iOS app. Your iPhone can send video, microphone in the background without you knowing. The thing is, other iOS apps specifically request your permission to do so, whereas I don't like Apple's built-in apps like FaceTime. I don't believe asks for permission. I could be wrong.
Well, this is my thing, I guess. It's embedded in the operating system.
Yes.
Basic piece of functionality of the phone. So you can't uninstall it. You can't modify the permissions that it can use. So it's almost the most critical piece to ensure is 100% secure, right?
Right. Marcus Tower says, so nobody knows about the AirDrop's eavesdropping accessibility feature. Well, it's an accessibility feature. It's not an eavesdropping feature. Do you know about this one?
Which one?
All right, so on iPhones, this is just a built-in feature. You can take your AirPods and you can put in your AirPods and you can have your AirPods stream your phone's microphone. So an example of this would be if you have a child who can't hear that well and they're sitting in the back of the class, they can have an AirPod in, and if they keep their phone like at the teacher's desk or in the teacher's pocket, as the teacher speaks to the class, it's streaming.
It's essentially hearing aid.
Exactly. It's kind of like a low-budget hearing aid.
That also has its own baked-in
exactly, because if you place your phone in an area where it shouldn't be, and then turn that feature on, you can hear the stream of your own phone. Wow. So let's say you have your phone and you place it into just the room where there's a business meeting is going to go down. You just toss it on the floor or whatever under the desk. Now you can hear what's going on in there.
Is this an accessibility feature?
It is an accessibility feature, but it's obviously an accessibility feature that is easily used for nefarious purposes if you want to. So,
interesting.
But it still is a good feature. Like, it's a nice feature for people that can't hear that well.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Travis McP says you can actually go to Best Buy right now and sell your children and get an 8K TV. They got a nice trade-in program for kids. Nice. Let's see. She still got the Surface Pro. That is true. She says it's her work computer, but
my work computer.
She could always swap it out for a MacBook Pro. That's how the Puppy Bowl got in trouble. So Marcus says, I'm assuming he means the Puppy Bowl used the word Super Bowl.
Oh, really?
Remember the Puppy Bowl? It was like the halftime show for the Super Bowl. You change the channel, watch puppies run around and play fake football. Technically T in the house. What's up?
Who's in the house?
Technically T, another tech video
I like that name.
creator. Yeah, it's a good name. His name is T. He's like, you know what? Technically T. What do they call that when like the two onomatopoeia or something? That's not it.
No.
Alliteration.
Yeah,
alliteration.
Very nice.
Little alliteration.
What should my YouTube name be? Because
don't ask Trav. He's gonna come up with something crazy for you. Because that's to start with an S.
Yeah.
Live Listen. That's what that feature's called. Live Listen is the feature with the AirPods.
Live Listen.
Okay. That's it. So we're going to jump back into the second segment of the podcast right now. You ready to go with that?
What is our second segment?
We're starting with the Apple the iPods and the iPads.
iPod Touch.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to mine. It's probably in storage somewhere.
Well, it's been a while since they released one. Okay, you ready?
2013.
You're starting this one. I'll say welcome back and you start there, okay? Ready?
Yep.
Welcome back to Geared Up. I'm Andrew Edwards.
And I'm Starla Simpaco. It's time for the National Car Rental Story of the Week. Thanks to National Car Rental for sponsoring Geared Up. And be sure to check out Andrew's show, Technically Speaking, on the nationalcar.com control center or youtube.com/nationalcarrent.
Yes, Technically Speaking is the show I do with them where I talk about the best tech gear, gadgets, etc. that you would take with you, whether you're business traveling, whether you're personal traveling, just when you're on the go. What tech will make your life easier or more fun? That's what Technically Speaking is all about.
awesome. The latest tech puts you in the driver's seat, and National Car Rental's Emerald Club will keep you there.
Yes, go national and go like a pro. Okay, story of the week is the rumored new Apple iPod Touches and base level iPads.
I never thought I'd hear you ever say that.
Really?
New iPod Touches.
I know. It's been
weird.
About 4 years since they've released iPod Touches.
Yeah.
iPods Touch.
Oh, yeah.
iPods Touch
yeah.
or
What is
iPod
the
Touches?
plural form?
Whatever it is, we thought, or I thought, they were like on their way out. Or maybe not on their way out, but at the very least, we're just going to sell this one and just forever until people don't want iPods anymore. Mm-hmm. But the rumor says, hey, new iPod Touches are on the way. Can
Why
you hear
do you
that?
think they would do?
Oh, yeah. you're not monitoring the audio. Okay.
No.
We had a
plane.
helicopter or something. Okay. Mm-hmm. We'll say that part again. What was I just saying? I was just asking you a question. I remember.
I was asking, why do you think they came out? Why, if it's true, why do you think they're coming out with a new iPod Touch?
Well, I think the last iPod Touch is running an Apple A8 processor, if I'm not mistaken. It might be an A7 processor. So that's like a processor that's many years old. So it could just be at a point where they're saying, okay, we might not be selling iPods a ton, but we still sell enough of them that we need to have it in our lineup, and we just we can't make any more of those old processors anymore. We need to bump it up to something newer.
Does it fit, though? I mean, do you feel like it fits in their lineup?
The iPod?
Or the iPod Touch. I mean, in a classic way it does, but...
Here's the thing with the iPods that a lot of people don't think about. Like, I'm super into tech, obviously. Mm-hmm. Probably anybody in this room, we're more techie than the average person. So when people like me look at it, they say, no one wants this, no one buys this. We all have iPhones. Why would we need this? But I actually worked with Apple about 1.5 years ago on a joint product they made with Cochlear, the implant for people who are deaf or who can't hear that well. So Apple worked with Cochlear on a Cochlear implant that would stream to your iPhone or to your iOS device. Okay. So almost like we talked about with the AirPods feature, let's say you wanted to listen to music. You pull up Apple Music, you start playing a song, and it would stream right there, almost like a headphone. Streaming right into your head, right? So that technology works really well for children who don't hear well.
Okay.
And so a lot of times parents will give their kids a cheap iPod Touch to use with their cochlear implant rather than an expensive iPhone. So I think obviously that's a more niche scenario, but it's one example where not everybody who wants an iOS device can afford or wants to pay as much for an iOS device. So if you're on Android and you want to have an iOS device with you as well, it's cheaper to just buy an iPod Touch than to buy a phone. If you want to give something to your kids, it's cheaper to give them an iPod Touch than to give them a phone. So I think that's kind of where we're at. We're just seeing there's still people buying this product, so we need to have it in our lineup. But a lot of the parts are getting super old. Oh, she didn't even turn her alarm off. Okay.
You know what? It was on silent.
That was not silent.
No, it's
that was
the
not
thing.
Oh,
the thing
right.
Silent.
This is the mute switch. Okay.
It's going off now.
Fair.
Because now I'm scared. Like, I don't know who else is hearing me now. Turn it off.
Right. Now someone else is live streaming our show as we speak. Okay. So it's not just iPod Touches, though. So this will be the 7th generation iPod Touch, if this rumor is true, and it seems like it is. But they also have the entry-level iPads.
Like 4 new models.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so...
Are you a big iPad user, Andrew?
I am, but I use the iPad Pro.
Okay.
Which I love.
What's the difference?
So the base level iPad, first of all, visually, it looks like pretty much any iPad you've seen over the past decade. Whereas the new iPad Pro looks more like the iPhone 10, where there's no, like, you see your phone there, you have the bezels at the top and the bottom, et cetera, and mine just has, almost nothing.
Yeah.
So the iPad Pros look more like this.
Okay.
Almost bezel-less. There's still a little bezel, but they're very fast. They're almost as fast or faster in some cases than a MacBook or a MacBook Pro.
Okay.
And they have Apple Pencil support. So yeah, just basically a nicer iPad, a work level iPad. The base level iPads are very inexpensive, so they start, I believe, at $329. they support the older Apple Pencil as well as something called the Crayon. So you can basically, the Crayon is something where you just take any, so you can have a box of crayons, fake, they just call it this. And so let's say you have a classroom and you have like 10 iPads for the class and you have a box of crayons. You can grab any iPad and any crayon and it'll just work. Whereas with the Apple Pencil, like my Apple Pencil only works on my iPad unless you sync it to yours.
Okay.
So last year, Apple, when they updated the base level iPad, they really made it all about education. They're trying to compete with the Chromebooks of the world. I don't know that they're doing that well. Chromebooks are very, very cheap, and iPads are just, even at $329, iPads are not very cheap. But nevertheless, looks like Apple is about to update both of these devices at an event probably happening this spring.
Are you going to be there?
No, I don't think I'm gonna. I mean, these things. In fact, this might not even be an event because it doesn't seem like last year when they updated it. It was at a school in Chicago. They held the event at a school.
I remember that.
Yeah, it was kind of odd. But invites haven't gone out yet. And like usually for Apple, I've only gone to iPhone launches. Just because I don't know, other stuff doesn't seem as crazy to me. But one other thing that was rumored for Apple.
A kind of like a Netflix for games.
Yes, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Do you play games on your mobile phone?
Not really.
No? Okay, not a gamer. Do you play any games?
Is everyone going to hate me if I say no?
Everyone is, yeah, you're losing your tech card real fast up in here.
Don't tell anyone.
So here's what's interesting. So when you think of entertainment, right?
Oh, no.
Entertainment.
I walked into that.
Tell me what types of entertainment, like general categories of entertainment there are. Like music.
Like music, TV, shows.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think the only other one is games. Like I can't think of three. Like music, visual entertainment, which is movies and TV or theater, and then games. Like, is there anything else? So Apple has Apple Music, right? So they've got their music subscription service. They are heavily rumored to be launching their video Netflix competitor. So Apple, whatever they end up calling it, Apple, it won't be Apple TV because that's a physical device, but Apple's video service is going to compete with Netflix.
Okay.
It only makes sense then, right, to also have a game subscription service as well. So what's weird about this is what games are going to be included in here. Like, do you just pay a monthly fee and have access to any iOS game you want? Or do they curate certain games that you can play and other ones you have to buy? That's what's up in the air. This is a very new rumor, but it seems to make sense in a company that's trying to become more about services and less about product sales.
Would you use an Apple games subscription service?
I don't know, because I feel like I play more of my games on like my Xbox or my PlayStation or my Nintendo Switch. Like I want to play my games on a TV, not in my hand.
Yeah.
So I don't know that I would personally use it. I would definitely, I mean, I'm an Apple Music subscriber, so I'm definitely using their music service. And I would subscribe to a TV service if the content was good. And it seems like Apple is trying to prepare people for that because at CES, did we talk about last week? Like Apple is going to be built in to a lot of the TVs this year. So Sony, Samsung, Vizio, and LG all announced integration with Apple's HomeKit and AirPlay 2, and Samsung in particular also announced that iTunes would be built into their TVs. So it seems like Apple's trying to get into the TV space rather than expecting you to buy an Apple TV.
Yeah. I need to take a cough break.
Cough break. All right. If you were here last week, we both were taking cough breaks the whole time, every 5 minutes. So I've actually improved quite a bit. Jake is still safe. How you feeling, Jake?
I'm feeling pretty good.
You're not feeling a little under the weather?
No, I'm actually really surprised. I keep coughing on him. Because I was kind of like, I was getting all the coughs my way for a while.
Starless stands up and basically just goes over to Jake's desk and
coughs
on him and then comes back into frame.
I need a little
umbrella.
Fantastic.
No, Sorry, I shouldn't have hit the table.
No worries. Yeah, sorry about that, Todd.
Sorry.
Yeah, okay.
I was like holding it in.
Oh, yeah, that's the worst. That's the worst. Okay, you're good? Taking a sip real quick. See, again, you're watching the recording of the podcast. If you actually listen to the podcast episode of this, it's going to sound pristine.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jim Valley for that, by the way.
Thanks, Jim.
I have a question for you, Andrew.
Question, hit me with it.
So you have a 15-year-old.
Yes.
And mobile gaming. So how much does he game on his mobile device? Because from my understanding, especially lately, it's almost overwhelming how much gaming is going on mobile devices for developers, even to the point of where Blizzard had that huge flop where they announced about what is it, the new Diablo or something like that was going to be mobile, and they just got huge backlash for it. But there's no way to really ignore. So I want to ask you, as a parent, how much does your 15-year-old actually game on his device? I feel like
to him, like to me, there's a difference between console gaming, PC gaming, mobile gaming. Like they're all different, and I feel like to him it's just gaming. Like, what situation am I in right now that I can play a game? You know what I mean? So, am I sitting in front of my TV? All right, I'll play the Xbox. Or what game do I want to play? Oh, I want to play Fortnite right now. Well, I'm on the go, so I'm going to play it on my phone, or I'm at home. I'm going to play it here. Nintendo's kind of blurred that line a little bit with the Switch, where I feel like a lot of it almost seems like his preference is to use the Switch handheld mode, whereas my preference is to hook it into the dock and play on the TV. Like, why wouldn't you want to play it? Like, to me, 4K surround sound, play that way. But to him, it's like, no, I just want to have it on the go, walk around, grab it, like whatever. So, I don't know that he like prefers mobile gaming so much as it's just I want to play something. What situation am I in? And he's cool with it. Whereas for me, if I want to play something, but it's like while I'm on a plane, I'll actually like think about it. Like, do I really want to play this on my phone screen? I'll just read some news, or I'll just listen to a podcast. Like, I'll actually decide not to because I don't want to play it on my small phone that doesn't have dedicated buttons. That's me.
So Apple's gaming streaming service is probably not for us, is what you're saying. It's or the target demographic.
Definitely not for me. All right. Is it for you? I don't know. Do you play mobile games?
No, I'm not a mobile gamer.
All right.
I'm not. I'm like PC. I mean, I came from when we carried our 24-inch CRTs, up and down stairs to our friend's house.
Yeah, see, that's not me either. That's me. The most of them with LAN
world,
is like the original Xbox when we wanted to play Halo with other people. We would like plug in the Ethernet cable and then like string it across the hall in our apartment building to the front. Like, we have a 100-foot cable, just it's gonna go across the hall into your door, into your those were the days. All right, what do we got next, Starla?
Up next.
Is it break time?
Yeah, it's break time.
Where's our list?
It's in Slack.
Jim, edit this out of the podcast. Where's our
Just watch. I'll keep it in.
We're doing been doing a lot of talking. And okay, it was okay, good. That's the end of the segment too. So now we have to just say we'll be right back. All right.
How do I?
Okay, I'll do it. All right.
What were we just talking about?
The iPads and Apple's.
Apples to apples.
Apple stuff. All right, that was your look at Apple's upcoming iPod Touch, iPad, and gaming service. All of these are rumored. None of this is confirmed yet, but we think it's going to happen. Any final thoughts?
It's probably going to happen.
Probably going to happen. We'll see. We'll be right back talking about
foldable phones
and minimalist phones
right after the break.
All right. Good enough. Good enough. Okay, let's check the chat. What's going on in the chat? Technically T. He responded back to you and said, yo. All right. WWE used to have a halftime wrestling match during the Super Bowl and had to use the big game name. They actually called it Halftime Heat.
Halftime Heat?
Halftime Heat, and it's actually coming back this Sunday. Halftime Heat.
Are you in it?
Am I in it? Get out of here. I should be. They brought it back, but now it's only being shown on the WWE network. That is true. They're bringing back the CD Walkman while they're at it. So Travis is saying they're not bringing back an iPod, though. Like, the iPod Touch is still for sale today. They're not bringing it back.
Just coming
They're
a new
just
one.
updating it. They're updating it. All right. Travis said that was him who was calling you. Now
he does not have my number.
He's like never going to get that number. Marcus says, wow, I wish we had a game streaming service a few years ago. If I created a company, I would call it Gamefly and
That's really
that
specific.
Exists. That
Gamefly.
exists.
The one I've used is Liquid Sky.
What?
Yeah, Liquid Sky.
Liquid
and
Sky.
it works pretty good. It's not that expensive.
I have never
Little bit of lag. I mean, you know, it's not for what we call Twitch shooters like Counter-Strike and stuff.
Okay.
But I mean, if you're playing WoW or something, it works great.
So GameFly was a Netflix type service where they would send you discs.
Yes.
Okay, like old school Netflix would send you discs.
Old school Netflix.
And they would send, or cartridges even for Game Boy Advance, and you just send them back and forth in the mail. So that was GameFly. I wonder if they're still around. I don't know, but I thought they were cool, but a little too expensive for my tastes back in the day.
It's like an all-you-can-eat thing. You know, $50 a month, and then whatever game you want.
Right.
Okay. I see.
Right. Okay. Looks like that's it in the chat. Viper, halftime heat is back. The burn. What burn? What burn? Did I say something crazy? Oh, I said Travis isn't getting her number.
Oh, sorry.
No one.
we didn't mean to hurt anyone's feelings.
Starla doesn't want to hurt nobody's feelings, but still not getting it. All right. Okay. Next up, we've got the phones. The phones. Okay. Okay. Ready?
All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to the show. I'm Starla Sampaco.
I'm Andrew Edwards. All right,
We're still figuring out our flow.
No, just do that again. Do that again.
I'll take over.
Okay.
Hey, everyone. Welcome back to Geared Up. I'm Starla Sampaco.
I'm Andrew Edwards.
And now we're about to talk about foldable phones.
Yes.
Have you ever used a foldable phone, Andrew?
I got my hands on one at CES. I don't even remember the name of the company, but it was not Samsung. Samsung showed off a foldable phone prototype, and other companies are trying to jump in quickly to compete here. Imagine having your smartphone be twice the size.
Like a tablet, basically.
Like a tablet. And then you can fold it in half.
Snap it in half.
Almost like what you have here. Okay. You have this Surface Book Pro.
It's huge.
What is it? Surface Book. And obviously, and I'm not going to close it, but you can close it, and you have this hinge, right?
Yeah.
Now, this hinge is pretty thick. THICC. And I am not a fan of that hinge because it stays open. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when you close it, like, the hinge isn't, like, shut. It, like, has an open area because it's so wide. That's what these foldable phones are like.
Oh.
Like, it looks terrible. And the other thing is, if something folds, glass does not fold. Can we agree with that? Glass does not fold.
Okay.
All of our phones right now have glass on them to protect the display. So we're about to downgrade our phones to plastic just so they can fold? Not me. I'm not trying to do that. What do you think? What is your idea of these foldable phones?
I've just never looked at my phone and thought, oh, I wish I could fold this right now.
Wait a minute. So did you never have a foldable, like a Motorola Razr or anything?
No,
back
I
in the
did.
day?
I did have a flip phone.
Okay. All right.
But
I was getting scared.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess in the video, which maybe we can pull up a video of the Samsung foldable phone that's the prototype.
Or any of them, yeah.
I mean, it's kind of cool to be looking at something in tablet mode and then fold it down to be more of a phone mode.
Okay.
I can't think of any times in my daily life when I'm thinking, oh, okay, I need to change the width of this screen.
Yeah. Like for me, I feel like it would be cool if, for example, if I could take this phone and fold it in half. Like, let me clamshell this. So now I just have this tiny thing. I can slip in my pocket.
Fit in your pocket?
Yeah, like that's more, because these phones are getting bigger and bigger each year, right? If I could fold it in half, don't double the size of the phone. I don't want to double, I don't need a tablet. Like, take my phone and just let me fold that in half into a clamshell. Game Boy Advance style. What was that? Game Boy Advance SP. You ever seen one of these? I know you're not a gamer. I'm just curious. Remember the Game Boy Advance SP?
I do.
The way that thing folded in half?
Yep.
That was nice. Let me do that with my phone, and I might be interested. Might. I'm not saying I will. Might. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm not a big fan of this.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what they say. I mean, it's rumored that Samsung will come out with a foldable phone around March. So I'm interested to see how they sell it. You know,
right.
What's the value of being able to fold your phone?
Sure. Now, speaking of Samsung, I will be heading down to San Francisco the week of February 18th. They're going to be announcing the new Samsung Galaxy S10 smartphone. So I'll be there to check out the S10 S10 Plus, the rumored 5G version of the S10.
Oh.
So obviously I'll be not in town, so maybe Todd will take over the seat during that week. But the following week I'll be back to talk about Samsung's new hotness. Maybe they'll talk about the Galaxy F there. That's the foldable Samsung phone, Galaxy F.
What do you guys think of the name Galaxy F?
Galaxy
like
F.
Fail?
Fold. Fail. Galaxy Fail.
She said what everybody was thinking.
That's
the
true.
connotation of F.
Right.
Like, it gets an F.
Yeah.
Maybe they shouldn't name it that.
I think it's too late. They've already done it. Now, there's another trend happening in the mobile phone space.
Oh, I'm so excited for this.
I don't know if we can call it a trend, but it's they
growing
want it
movement.
to be one. Yeah, growing movement. Oh boy.
Minimalist phones.
Phones that don't do everything they should. Let's just call it what it is.
Well, there's some people who could say just because you could doesn't mean you should.
Okay.
It's basically a very basic phone. So one example is the Light phone. The first model, I think you could only make calls. And then the Light phone 2, now it has alarms and I believe texting. So it has a few more features, but the idea is you're not going to be stuck scrolling through Instagram for hours, which can be a time suck and happens to the best of us. Happened to me last night. So I'm kind of a fan. I'm willing to try it.
So you just wasted your night away scrolling through Instagram last night? Is that
I
what
didn't
happened?
mean to is the thing. I
But you
meant
did
to go to sleep.
This is what happened.
Yeah, I meant to go to sleep and then I saw a notification. I opened it up and I'm sitting there for I don't know how many minutes. And then I had such a hard time going to sleep.
Oh, wow. Okay, interesting. Now, listen, I understand there's this whole digital well-being thing that's being taken into account. We're seeing Google add this to phones and Apple add this to phones. You can go into your phone. You can see how long you spend in each app, how much screen time you've had over the past week, how many notifications you get a week. Mine is pretty crazy. In fact, do you know how to get to that section of your phone?
Yeah.
Let's just open ours up right now.
I have to power mine back
just
on.
to see. Oh, you turned your phone completely off?
Well, we don't know who's listening.
You wanted to stop Travis. All right. So if I go into my screen time for the past 7 days, here we go.
We really doing this right now?
Here we go.
We're doing this.
I have 8 hours and 12 minutes per day of screen time. And in the last 7 days, 8 hours and 15 minutes of that was spent in Twitter, 5 hours in messaging, 5 hours in Instagram. Wow. 4 hours recording, almost 5 hours recording video, so that's work. 4 hours on Facebook, 4 hours on Reddit. Jeez. So, and I pick up my phone 111 times per day. How is that even possible?
Wow.
And do you know how many notifications I get a day?
How many?
Do you know how many notifications I get a day?
1,000.
An average of 340 notifications.
That's a lot.
Per day.
That's a lot.
Per day.
Mine's probably skewed. I took several sick days, 2 hours 11, but I think that's an outlier.
Okay.
I'll probably double that.
Let's check this out next week again.
We'll check this out next week.
But okay, so obviously a lot of people are doing a lot of things on their phone, a lot of things that aren't even necessary. They're just time wasters, etc. So we're seeing these phones that are being released as a method to curb that.
Yeah.
So you pick up a Motorola, was it Palm? The Palm phone.
Yes.
Tiny little phone, little display, cute little camera, fits in your palm. And the weird thing, though, is you need to be carrying your actual phone. So
With the Palm?
You need to have your real phone. You can't just buy a Palm phone and say, you know what, I'm going minimalist. You have to have service on your other phone, almost like the Apple Watch Cellular. This won't work unless I have an iPhone with a plan on it. I can't just buy an Apple Watch and have it work. You need an iPhone. So these phones that are supposed to be minimalist are actually an add-on on top of the other phone you already carry around with you, which is weird. The other thing, though, on any phone you get, you can turn all that off.
You can do not disturb.
You can do not disturb, but you can also say, you know what?
Delete your
I'm on Instagram all the time. Turn it off or delete it. You can go into the screen time setting where we just were and say, do not let me use Instagram for more than an hour a day. And then once it hits that hour, when you go into Instagram, it'll have like a little blur shade that says you've elapsed your time for the day. You can always say, let me in anyway because it's your phone. But there are ways to curb that behavior that I think one might want to try before spending money on a device that just tells you the time, lets you do messaging, and has alarms built in.
Well, some people don't have as much self-control as others. It's true. Like if you have chocolate cake at home, are you just going to walk past it?
If it's chocolate, I'm not a big chocolate fan.
Even if you cover it,
I'm not a big chocolate
you know it's there.
Now, if there's cookies somewhere,
yeah,
I might have a problem. Yeah. So, yes, I feel you. But I mean, I would rather remove the cookies from the premises rather than buy a fancy cookie lock.
A cookie
that
lock.
You shove everything in and lock it in, and then you just eat like fake cookies because you don't want to get the real ones. You know what I mean? That's what this phone is.
Okay.
That's what these phones are. But it sounds like we were talking earlier, we might have a challenge for ourselves to see if we can get these in.
I know. See how long each of us can last on it.
That sounds so crazy.
On a minimalist phone.
That sounds so
crazy. What
crazy.
if we end up loving it, Andrew?
Oh, that's so weird.
The show would completely change.
Yeah, the show would be done.
Minimalist tech.
Mm-hmm. We're just coming in we won't have this anymore.
Geared
we just have
down.
A pen and paper. Pen and paper for us. No, yeah, that would be terrible. Terrible for our careers. But let's see if we can get these phones in, though. We'll reach out and see if you and I can do the challenge. Who can last longer
on the light phone
using just those phones. So do not touch your iPhone.
I know. That's crazy.
That sounds weird. We'll see what happens.
It's kind of like when I went vegetarian for 3.5 days.
What? 3.5 days?
Couldn't go longer.
I was expecting to hear years. 3.5 days, and I was done.
That was done.
Okay, what was it that you missed? Was it just meat in general? Or was it like I really love burgers or?
Yeah, like I don't know, just eating a salad without like chicken in it. It's I don't know. It just seems incomplete.
Wow, eating a salad with chicken in it doesn't even sound exciting to me. Yeah. I'm just not a salad guy.
Or like if you go out to dinner with your friends
quiche.
And you're like going through the menu at an Italian restaurant and you're like, I guess I'll have the pasta with just the sauce.
Do you have olive oil and pasta?
And butter.
Little butter? Right. I eat like a kindergartner now. I'm vegetarian. Okay.
3.5 days.
Hey, there you go. That's our show this week.
Yeah.
Nothing else going on. Well, there's always stuff happening, but those are our topics. We'll be back here next week with more tech news. Hopefully the FaceTime bug is fixed by then.
Who knows?
Who knows? Apple promised it would be. So
we'll just record the podcast through FaceTime.
There you go. Right. If we need to, we'll do that. Thank you so much for listening. I'm Andrew Edwards.
And I'm Starless Paco.
We'll see you next time. Okay, now we need to read this. I don't know how this fits in. So, okay, you cough. I'm going to check real quick the chat. What do we got? Plausible deniability. Oh. I like the Moto Razr concept. So there is a concept of people saying there might be a Moto Razr that is updated for the new generation, all screen that folds in half. That would be interesting. Galaxy F this. My phone is in a different room from my bedroom. That's the best way to deal with that sort of thing. I keep my phone propped up directly pointed at my bed because I use it as like an alarm clock. So
someone out there is watching you sleep.
Hey, don't FaceTime me. Don't FaceTime me. All right, we have to read this, and then we're done.
All right.
Well, we had a couple of Facebook questions, actually.
Oh, do we? Please.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. So we'll read this, and then we'll address the Facebook
I realized
questions.
we never introduced me to Facebook.
Oh, okay.
Like, they probably were expecting Todd.
Because we didn't do Facebook last week. Okay, you know what, Facebook? This is Starless and Paco.
Hi.
And, yeah.
I'm a host and video producer at GeekWire. And Todd, don't worry. He's okay. He's still in the building.
He's still here.
But he's going to have more of a behind-the-scenes role for Geared Up.
All right. We're going to read the ending here, and then we'll jump into any other questions that we have. So thanks a lot for listening to Geared Up.
If you're not already, you should subscribe to Andrew's YouTube channel to see our live behind-the-scenes videos. You can do that at youtube.com/gearlive.
Also subscribe to Geared Up in your favorite podcast app. Just search for Geared Up. That's 2 words, not 1, in Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen.
If you like what we do, consider leaving us a rating and a review. It really helps other people find the show. Geared Up is a GeekWire podcast. You can see more from us at geekwire.com. Jake Green runs the live stream, and Jim Valley edits the show.
Okay, now we can hit up the questions.
So Lamar,
what do you got?
Lamar asked, wouldn't plastic make your phone more durable, or make your phone durable?
So I guess it really depends on the plastic, because the original iPhone, when it was announced back in 2007, actually was a plastic screen. And as they were testing it, Steve Jobs came into work one day. He had his phone and his keys in the same pocket. And he took out his phone and was like, this is all scratched up. We need to change this. And they had like so little time between having to finish the phone and mass producing it that they had to scramble to find the right glass quickly because they knew people are just going to take this phone, put it in their pocket with their other stuff. And so...
Well, 12 years of polymer innovation.
Right. I mean, it's interesting because glass is... I'm trying to remember. So the more pliable something is, the more it can be scratched. So plastic, for example.
Okay.
And the less pliable something is, the more the more pliable, the less it's going to break. Basically, there's a trade-off between scratches and breaking your phone.
Okay.
And so, like, shattering your display. And I think they're always trying to find the balance there. Okay. Plastic is obviously not going to shatter as easily, but it's probably more prone to scratches because it's a softer material.
So I suppose we'll see.
I suppose we'll see. I suppose we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, he's saying imagine how high you can drop your phone from. I mean...
Oh.
Yeah.
Have you ever shattered your phone?
Once. iPhone 5.
Yeah, I have as well. On a Motorola Razr.
Terrible. Terrible.
It's so sad when it
happens.
happens.
The worst. Right.
Okay, and Hugh Lee asked, question for Andrew.
Yeah.
What does the sunset of the Tesla referral program mean for those that want to take advantage of supercharging?
Okay, so Tesla has a referral program where, as an owner of a Tesla, I can give you my link, and if you bought one, I get a credit. Or if you bought Tesla Solar. So if you bought a car or a solar installation, I would get credit. For each credit, there's levels. Like if I do 1, I get a prize. If we get to 5, I get another prize. 10, I get another prize. If you sell 55, you get a free Tesla Roadster in 2020, which is their like crazy supercar.
Wow.
So you get it's going to be like $250,000. You get one for free.
What?
You get 55 referrals. Yes.
Wow.
So some people have done this already. They got their 55 referrals. So I've been trying to get my referrals in. I think I currently have 5 or 6 pending. Nowhere near the 55. But I thought, as I work at this, it'll start building up. And then Elon Musk announces, hey, this is going away February 1st. And that's in 2 days from now.
Why did he decide to do that?
So what he was saying is the referral program is costing them too much money. The Model 3. So if I refer you, you also get 6 to 9 months of free supercharging, which basically means you can plug in at Tesla's chargers and juice up for free as much as you want for 6 to 9 months, depending on if you got a test drive or not. And so with more and more of these cars selling, I think it's just costing them. Plus all the prizes they're giving out, plus all the people that have earned $250,000 cars. I think he was just like, okay, like originally the referral program was meant to get people to be encouraged to buy a Tesla vehicle. Well, now people are buying them in droves.
Yeah.
So it's not necessary anymore. So why give out all these free prizes when the cars are selling amazingly at this point? So the sunsetting for people who are trying to earn something, you have 2 more days to get people to place any sort of order. And after that, it's done. I don't think it's going to affect Tesla negatively at all. The Model 3 is outselling so many other sedans in its class, even combined from competitors. It's crazy. So
what about taking advantage of supercharging?
Taking advantage of supercharging in general, I mean, you're getting 6 to 9 months of free supercharging. It's not going to affect you until that period leaves. If you have, some people have like unlimited supercharging for life. That's not going to go away.
Wow.
Whatever supercharging level you have, whether it's the free 6 or 9 months or lifetime, you're not going to lose that. It just means people going forward are not going to get it. So if you buy your Tesla February 1st, you're getting no free supercharging, which, I mean, is, I think, also good because superchargers used to be you show up, you plug in, you're good. And now, like, you're showing up and it's like, hey, I'm 8th in line. And I'm in the middle of a road trip, and now not only do I have to wait for my car to charge, I have to wait till I even have a spot to pull into to charge. So they need to build more of these. They need to make them faster. They're selling more cars each and every day, so these things are getting like super crowded. So I think that's another thing they have to kind of watch out for, like that whole quality of service thing where you go to a supercharger and you have to wait forever. It's not really a good, a good experience. as a customer. So,
Huh.
yeah.
Thanks.
Hashtag Tesla probs.
Thanks, you.
Hashtag-
Thanks, Lamar.
I can't relate.
No, you don't have one?
No, I don't have my Tesla yet.
Okay. Yes.
I once had a Lyft that was a Tesla.
Oh.
It picked
Nice.
me up.
That's
rolled
nice.
up,
That's
picked me
cool.
up, yeah.
Were you excited?
Yeah, it was like being inside an Apple store.
Nice.
It's like so sleek.
Maybe that's why I love my
Maybe
Tesla
instead
so
of
much.
glass.
Because I also love just being in the Apple store. Just, that's fantastic. Okay, let me see. Any other? Everybody's just dropping emojis in the chat.
Who doesn't
They
love
said
a good
we got rid of
emoji?
Todd. Yes, we did. Todd's out.
God.
He might be back in a couple of weeks when I'm away in where I don't even know where I'm going. Where am I going?
Is it San Francisco?
San Francisco. That's
okay?
February. I have to go to Portland. So so I'll be out of town next week. Todd might be sitting right back here
While you're
at
in
that time
Portland.
while I'm in Portland. So
Getting your tax-free 85-inch
that's it. That's my
TV.
secret.
$1,000
I'm trying to head down there to hit that TV. All right, guys. Any other questions from anywhere that you can see?
Do we have any tweets?
Any tweets? Any tweets? I don't think we had any tweets.
Because this was on Twitch too, right?
It was.
I don't
should've
have a
been monitoring
Twitch
that.
account.
Yeah, I didn't even
It's on your
open.
Twitch, right?
I didn't even know. It was, but I don't even know.
Should
it's
I be on
twitch.com/DRUSOICY. Drew so icy. Come on, that's from when I was in high school.
That's pretty funny.
It's like, this guy's so cool, he's icy.
That's funny. He's so cool. He's icy.
Is it on there? Is
It
that a
is.
commercial?
Yeah, it's yeah.
Okay, was there any comments at all?
Kingdom Hearts. It doesn't appear so.
Okay,
Brett.
good.
Yeah.
Then we are out of here. Thank you guys for watching. You do it. Hey, what's up? Thank you for watching. We will see you. Well, I won't see you next week. You'll see
I'll
them next
probably
week.
see you next week.
All right, good. Until next time.
All right.
Goodbye.
Bye.